Ring, let me take you to your destination, sir.
A poor black waitress helped an old man in the pouring rain, but what happened the next morning broke her heart in front of a room full of people who said nothing. Amina Jones walked into the diner soaked, exhausted, and just a few minutes late, only for her manager to humiliate her publicly, strip her of her dignity, and fire her as customers watched in silence. She had no idea that the stranger she saved the night before was watching too. And when he stepped through that diner door, every cruel word spoken to her would come back with a vengeance. Welcome back to Rising Voices, where every story carries truth, pain, and the kind of courage that changes lives. Before we continue, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Your support keeps these stories alive. Now, let's begin. The storm from the night before felt like something out of a nightmare. Sheets of rain hammered Amina's old truck so violently that the wipers barely made a difference. Her back ached from a double shift, her feet were blistered, and her uniform smelled faintly of burnt coffee. All she wanted was a dry bed and a few hours of peace. But fate had other plans. Up ahead, barely visible through the rain, was a car pulled to the side, a sleek black sedan with steam rising from its hood, hazard lights blinking like a dying heartbeat. And beside it, an older white man leaning on the fender for support, drenched to his bones, trembling, trying to hold onto a phone that had clearly lost signal. Amina hesitated for just a second. The road was empty. The hour was late, and trouble was real, but kindness lived in her bones. She rolled down her window. "You okay, sir?" she asked gently, voice cutting through the storm. He lifted his head slowly, eyes tired, defeated. "My car, it died. I can't get anyone to pick up." Amina unlocked the passenger door. "Come on, you're going to get sick out here." He got in slowly, shivering so badly she could hear his teeth chatter. The heater in her truck barely worked, but she turned it all the way up anyway. "My name's Samuel Hale," he murmured. Amina nodded softly. "I'm Amina. You're safe now." She took him back to her tiny one-room apartment where warmth was scarce, but compassion was plenty. She handed him her only blanket, gave him instant noodles, and set him up on her worn couch. Despite his protests, she insisted, quietly, firmly, that he take the warmer spot. She watched him sleep as the storm faded into a cold drizzle. Her life was hard, yes, but moments like this reminded her that she could still give. Before dawn, she left for work. When she stepped into her small living room, he was gone. The blanket folded perfectly, and a note on the table, "Thank you for treating me like a human being." She smiled, tucked the note into her pocket, and stepped into the morning mist, unaware that her kindness had been witnessed in a way that would change everything. The morning shift was chaos. The diner, newly renamed the Morning Lantern, was packed with customers escaping the rain. Amina rushed through the door, breathless, hair still dripping. Her manager, Craig Benton, looked at her with disgust. "Amina Jones," he barked loudly, "you think being poor means the rules don't apply to you? You think you can walk in 10 minutes late and smile your way out of it?" The room fell silent instantly. Amina tried to explain, gentle but shaking. "Sir, someone needed help. I couldn't just leave." Craig cut her off with a sharp laugh. "Spare me the charity speech. Good deeds don't pay rent. Hand over your apron." Amina froze. 4 years of loyalty, 4 years of double shifts, 4 years of swallowing insults and pretending they didn't hurt. And this is how he repaid her. Hands trembling, she unknotted her apron. A couple in a booth whispered, "She's the sweetest one here," but no one stood up for her. No one dared. She walked outside in the drizzle, heart cracking open. She felt invisible. Good enough to serve, but never good enough to matter. But she didn't see the black sedan roll by slowly, didn't see the window lower, didn't see Samuel Hale watching her with a clenched jaw, the note she gave him still folded on his passenger seat. "So this is where she works," he whispered, and he drove straight to the Morning Lantern. Inside, Craig was standing tall, chest puffed out. Today was the day the diner's secretive owner was supposed to visit, and he was desperate to look in control. At exactly noon, the door opened. A tall, silver-haired man entered, calm, commanding, the kind of presence that makes everyone stand straighter without knowing why. Craig rushed forward. "Mr. Hale, sir, welcome." But Samuel wasn't listening. His eyes searched the diner until he found the empty corner where Amina should have been standing. "Where is the young woman from this morning?" he asked. Craig's smile faltered. "Oh, her? I fired her. Lazy, unprofessional, a bad look for the place. Silence sliced through the room. A server dropped a spoon. The cook stopped flipping pancakes. Even the coffee machine hissed to a halt. Samuel's voice was low, firm. Call her back. Now. 5 minutes later, Amina stepped through the door, still in her damp uniform, still confused, still hurt. Samuel's expression softened. Amina Jones, he said warmly, you showed me humanity when you had nothing to gain. This diner needs that heart, so effective immediately, you are reinstated. He paused and promoted to co-manager. Gasps rippled across the diner. Amina covered her mouth, tears gathering in her eyes. Craig's voice cracked. You can't do this. Samuel turned, calm but sharp. You humiliated the best person in this building, and today you answer for that. Weeks passed. Under Amina's leadership, the Morning Lantern felt reborn, brighter, safer, full of real warmth. Customers lingered longer, staff smiled more, tips soared. But Craig, his pride curdled into bitterness, and soon the cash drawer started coming up short. Amina noticed, counted carefully, reported it quietly to Samuel. Hidden cameras were installed. A private investigator placed quietly in the corner. And one rainy night, Craig was caught, opening Amina's register, pocketing bills, swapping her count slip, muttering, let's see them keep their precious charity case now. The next morning, the whole staff gathered. The video played. No one said a word. Handcuffs clicked. Craig was taken away shaking, furious, undone by his own cruelty. 6 months later, the Morning Lantern shone brighter than ever. The walls were freshly painted. The booths were full. People came not just for food, but for the story of the waitress who saved a man and rebuilt a home for kindness. One evening, Samuel stood up with a smile. Amina didn't just help me that night, he said. She reminded me why I built this place. Today, she becomes my full partner. The room erupted in applause. Amina cried openly, covering her face, overwhelmed by the journey she never asked for, but earned. Later that night, outside in the quiet mist, she saw a man at the car wash across the street. Craig, hunched, wet, alone. Amina approached him calmly and placed an envelope in his hand. What's this? He asked, voice breaking. Open it when you're ready. She walked away. Inside the envelope was a small charity donation made in his name, and a handwritten note. Storms change people. Some drown, some grow. I hope you grow. The next morning, Amina flipped the sign from closed to open with a calm, grateful smile. Good morning, she said to the first customer walking in. Welcome to the Morning Lantern, where kindness lights everything.